Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is John Shaquille Poitier Jr. and welcome back to my podcast. Darling, I'm depressed again. Don't tell my mother. Where we discuss mental health and mental health related topics in the youth, the elderly, the teenagers, primary schoolers, high schoolers, tertiary schoolers, all ages, all people, all creeds, races, origins. Listen, once you are a person, once you are breathing, we have something for you here. Now, each episode, we have a certain word, if you will, a certain something that ties it all together, gives it a certain je ne sais quoi, if you will. And the word for this episode is, wait for it, drum roll please, expectation. Expectation. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Growing up as the youngest child, I just always had things done for me, right? And I know that's a very privileged place to come from, but it's the truth. I had two older siblings. I have two older siblings. I have, my parents, and I have wonderful, godparents and what's not. So, really and truly, a lot of things were just handed to me. They were done for me. And when you are, as a child, you are raised with the mindset, people are going to do this for me, that for me, that for me, just because I'm the youngest or just because I'm the baby of the family. You grow to expect these things. You grow to sometimes you believe that things are owed to you simply because of who you are or how you grew up. And my sister, one day, we were driving, because sometimes my sister takes me and we go driving around. One day, we were just in the car talking as we always do. And she said something so interesting to me. She said, no one owes you anything. And she wasn't, speaking to me as in I expect the world to do everything for me, but she said no one owes you, like no one owes us anything. And I thought it was so peculiar that she said that because I had grown up, in my younger years, expecting, right? Expecting things to be done as a child, expecting to receive certain things, expecting to be the one who always benefited. And she said, no one owes you anything. So I had to break down what it means to owe someone something, right? Because JoJo has this saying, my oldest sister, she says the only thing we have to do is stay black and die. It's a saying she picked up from somewhere and I picked it up from her. And it's the truth. That those are the only two things that I do have to do, stay black and die. And as human beings, we don't really have to do anything for each other. I realize that we don't have to help each other. We don't have to take care of each other. We don't have to. We often confuse the word have with the word should, right? So we should be kind to each other. We should be loving to each other. We should be considerate of each other's spaces. But technically speaking, to say that we have to implies that we have no choice, right? To say that we have to removes the ability to choose because it's saying that it's mandatory, when in reality, nothing is mandatory at all. And when I began to develop that mindset of nothing is owed to me, it shifted my perspective on life, whereas gratitude became my foundation. Because yes, I was always grateful for the things that was done for me as a child, but now that I understand that it didn't necessarily have to be done for me, mind you, it should be done because, take care of children and what's not. But now that I understood that it didn't necessarily have to be done for me, it made me way more thankful for the people who showed up in my life and the ways that they showed up. And my perspective started to shift a lot because there were times where people showed up for me, but they showed up in a way that I didn't necessarily want to receive at the moment, or they showed up in a way that I was unable to understand. I had the inability to understand how they were showing up, right? Because for me, showing up looks different. It looks like an apple, giving someone an apple, and for them, showing up looked like giving someone an orange, right? So I didn't really understand the value of their presence. I didn't understand the value of whatever it is they had to give, because I naturally thought, it's expected. It's expected. It's a thing that they have to do. But when you create a life that places gratitude as the epicenter, you begin to see the shock waves of that throughout everything that you do. When you understand that nobody actually has to do anything for you, but they choose to do it out of love and the respect for you and your personhood, you begin to develop this deep gratitude not only for the people around you, but for life itself. Because I understand that they have a choice, right? Because there is no love in a having to do something. There is no love in not having a choice. Love is about having the ability to do what you want, to not be inconvenienced, to live a life that's only pleasing to you in your own hedonistic way, and still deciding to go out of your way to help someone and recognize someone. And you could have chosen to do anything, but you chose to help me. You chose to recognize me. And I am grateful for that, because you did not have to. The only thing you have to do is stay black or stay white or stay whatever color you are and die. Those are really the only two things that someone has to do. So the fact that you went out of your way and showed love to me, I am now able to say, okay, you may not be showing up for me in the way that I want, but I have to look at how you are showing up, and I have to be thankful for the fact that you're doing it. I have to be thankful for the fact that you are trying. I cannot allow my expectation, word of the episode, I cannot allow my expectation to separate me from my gratitude. Because when I allow my expectations for someone to separate me from my ability to be thankful, that means that I am being separated from my ability to recognize that they do not have to help me or assist me in any way. So my expectations now become entitlement. And my entitlement now becomes ungratefulness. And when you are operating in a life under ungratefulness, we truly fail to recognize just how miserable and how harmful that can be to our mental health. When I don't give thanks for something and I recognized it, I like it's so amazing. There is a verse that I love in the Bible because I am a Christian. You may not be, but there is something that I recognize in the Bible, a verse I recognize, and it says, with everything through prayer and supplication, make your requests known unto God, and he will give you a prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving. There we go. Make your request known unto God, and he will give you a peace that surpasseth all understanding. So, thanksgiving, the act of giving thanks, has to be integrated, right, into your life as a way to access peace. Because when you have gratitude for something, you are allowing yourself to go through the proper channels to access a mind that is at ease. And in case you don't believe me, we all know somebody. We all know somebody Because I went to school with some of them when I was in high school. Every morning they make up mad. They just wake up mad as hell. Every morning they wake up angry at the world. If they wake up on the left side of the bed, man, I wanted to wake up on the right. If someone give them Fruit Loops, man, I wanted Lucky Charms. Someone put apple juice in their cup, man, I wanted orange juice. There are some people who can never be happy, and they cannot access their happiness because they don't know how to be grateful for what they have instead of focusing on the expectations that they have set. And when you focus on expectations so much, you begin to nitpick at every little part of your life until you don't even know whether you are grateful, ungrateful, happy, sad, miserable, ecstatic. You begin to become lost in that little section of complaining. Placing gratefulness as the foundation of your life, of any life, is going to lead to peace. Because it was also this thing too, besides recognizing that people didn't have to do anything for me, because like I said, I grew up, right, with everyone doing everything for me. It was also recognizing that when I am grateful, I am more accepting of the things that I cannot change. So I am more accepting of my situation. I am more accepting of whatever the hell is going on around me. If I am grateful, listen, yo, I have had some situations. I remember when my godmother passed, and my daddy called me, right? Mind you, it was midterm week, y'all. But he was trying to wait. I do give him credit because he was trying to wait. My father called me, and this is the importance of having gratefulness as the foundation. My daddy called me. You know, I do my little bust out crying in the bed or whatever, whatever. But I said, and I remember this so specifically too, when I prayed, following that, what happened, I said, I thank God that I had her in my life. I said, and I remember this so vividly because I literally remember just bawling straight tears out my eyes. I mean, boo, boo. I said, I thank God for the fact that I could have a godmother like her in my life. I can't, I can't bring her back to life. I could not bring her back to life. But in that moment, that gratefulness for having her in my life, if even for a second, it helped my heart because I recognize that I can't change the situation now. But I am grateful for the fact that I got to experience this person and live, if even for a period of my life, in the presence of this person. So my gratefulness changed my outlook on the situation. Now, when I compare that to my Auntie Magdalene, who died, you know, a week before my birthday, like 2018, I wasn't grateful at first. I wasn't grateful. I was like, God, what are you doing? What's going on? What is this? I was not, I focused on the trauma, which is grief. Grief is focusing on all of those. Grief is going through it all. Grief is going through it all. Don't get me wrong. But I forgot to be grateful for her life, for her happiness, for her joy. Gratefulness reminds me in the middle of my grief that there was something for me to grieve. There was something for me to love. There was something for me to enjoy and be happy that I got to be around it. That is what gratefulness does for me. And so when my Auntie Magdalene died and I had forgotten my gratefulness, I believe that I took it so much harder because I didn't rejoice for the fact that she had lived, but I sure did mourn the fact that she, died. So gratitude changed my perception of grief. Y'all, when I say gratitude is such an incredible thing, it's so important to be grateful. And in being grateful and having gratitude, we sometimes have to learn to change our expectations for things, right? We have to learn. And now I'm not talking about, listen, if you have a certain standard for a certain thing and you want that standard to remain where it is, then by all means, my God, go ahead. Keep your standards high. Keep it high, keep it pressed, keep it clean, keep it straight. You see what I'm saying? However, when it comes to expectations, what we expect from people, what we expect them to do for us, and all of those things, we have to be very careful not to let expectations lead to entitlement. Saying that you have to do this for me, you must do this for me, you have no choice but to do this for me. I recognize now, and this is how serious it is for me. I am grateful for my parents, my family members, like my sisters, my brother-in-law, my niece, my even my godchild who can't even speak yet, my best friends. I am grateful for all of these people who are in my life because I recognize that they did not have to be, but they chose to do so. And so when it comes to what I expect from them, I am very careful not to allow my expectations to supersede my gratitude. I am very careful not to allow my expectations to dictate how I perceive them. And I perceive them through a lens of continuous thankfulness. And in being continuously thankful for them, I recognize that they need grace. I recognize that they will mess up. I recognize that there will be errors and human mistakes. And so a lot of the mental turmoil that I had before when people effed up, and I was so devastated by it because I thought, hey, you're supposed to be this person. You're supposed to have this perfect. You're supposed to be able to do this for me perfectly. Gratitude allowed me to see people as they are, not as I think they should always be. It allowed me to be thankful for the person that exists in front of me, not just their potential. Listen, gratitude. Oh my goodness. It is such an expansive thing. It literally pushes you. It pushes you. It stretches you almost into this person that is able to be content. And I don't mean content in the terms of complacency. I mean content as in, if you are growing and you are willing, and I see you are growing and I see you are willing, even though I may want you to be a bit farther than you are, I am grateful for the fact that you are trying at all. So I'm not going to force you to be anything that you don't want to be. I'm not going to force you to match me at my pace. I am content with the fact that we are taking these steps one at a time, two at a time, three at a time. I am content. Man, it's something the Apostle Paul said. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I love my biblical references. You reference whatever you could reference. I only could reference the Bible because that's all I know. But it's something the Apostle Paul said. He said, I am content in every situation. And a large part of him being content. Now, in case you don't know, Apostle Paul was someone from the Christian Bible, a couple thousand years ago. Just for a bit of background. He got stoned, he got lowered over a basket. They threatened to kill him. They threatened to assassinate him. He was on house arrest. He had a whole lot going on for someone who is supposed to be a messenger of God, right? And so, if I am a messenger of a perfect God, because this is a perfect example, if I am the messenger of a perfect God, I expect to have a perfect life. My expectation, oh, you see where the word expectation comes in? My expectation is that I'm going to have a perfect life because if I serve a perfect God, then everything should be sweet, right? Wrong. So Paul went through so much that it's actually baffling. Like snakes, I mean, absolute destitution, I mean, shipwrecks, I mean, prison, I mean, house arrest. He went through so much. However, Paul was grateful whether he was in the prison or whether he was in the palace. You understand what I'm saying? Gratefulness allowed him to recognize the fact that he was not entitled to anything. And so, because Paul was so grateful, because Paul was so grateful in every circumstance, he was brought out of every single circumstance that so happened to occur around him. So, when you are grateful, right? When you are grateful and you don't allow your expectation to become entitlement, your gratefulness and your expectation works hand in hand to produce an expected result. So now, whereas Paul could have said, well, I serve a God who is this, that, and the third, so you should do this because you have to, Paul said, I am thankful even if I am in shackles because I know that God is good. The one thing I expect of God is that he is good regardless. So even if I can't understand it now, I do know that he is going to be good. And because Paul had that expectation, but he also had his gratitude, he was brought up out of every situation he went through. It is okay to have an expectation, but you have to remember that your gratitude is going to be the thing that sets you free. Your ability to be thankful for whatever is happening around you is going to be the thing that propels you out of the situation, out of the mental stress, out of the mental turmoil. Listen, if it's one thing I know, being in college, being a college student, there will be some trying times with some trying people. And I had to learn to give thanks for each situation because in giving thanks for the situation, it loosed its hold of me. I literally had to say, God, I thank you I met that weirdo. I'm still practicing it. I say, God, I thank you I met that weird, just weird. When I say weird, I mean weird as hell. I mean weird, niggas, weird. That's how weird they are. And I literally had to say, you know what, God? I'm so thankful you allowed me to join that organization. We're going to talk about that on some other episode. I'm not going to do that today. I'm thankful you allowed me to do that. Even in speaking about gratitude, when I left a certain group, and I spoke to one of my mentors, she said, you should be thankful because there's always something to learn. So I have to be thankful that I interacted with that group of people. I have to be thankful that I am experiencing these things because in my gratitude, I am becoming a better person. In my gratitude, I am becoming a better version of myself. So I have no choice but to be thankful if I want to be better. See how that works? You see how that works? So, really and truly, I want to challenge you to be grateful for something this week that you didn't think you could be grateful for. I challenge you this week, if you're having a difficult time, if you experience something that really causes you to have the mental, to feel that sadness, feel that anger, feel that hurt, feel that pain, and then say, I am thankful for this because I know that I am going to be brought out of it. This has been your host, John Shaquille Poitier Jr. with Darling, I'm Depressed Again. Don't Tell My Mother. Signing off until next time.